All right, so we're going to go through referee positioning and movement today. So first off, of course, within the refereeing realm, the best when we're talking about positioning, we want to be in the best position for the best decision during a match. So how does improving your best position help you as a referee? Helps you build credibility and believability to your decision. Helps you keep match control as players are more willing to accept what you say and saw. Shows you're giving the game your energy, your 100%. We need to make sure we're moving around the football pitch. We're not just staying inside the center circle. We want to be we want to be within close proximity of the game. Better positioning at set pieces helps you reset your open play positioning and demonstrates your fitness and demonstrates your football knowledge and understanding of the game, because we all have some knowledge of football and understanding of the game, as we all come from all different levels of football. I mean, as an example case here, we've got Misuk on the session here, who's a FIFA assistant referee. And even as an assistant referee, you need to have the best position to make the best decision at all times. What to identify with your positioning? So positioning can generally be broken down into three areas, or what we have considered the three areas within this session is open play positioning, set piece positioning, and what we consider hot zone positioning. And I'll just hand over to Adam just to go through some of the areas of the pitch, just to explain especially what hot zone positioning is.
So yeah, I'll take that. Cheers, Brad. The hot zone is a term we use for the penalty area. We call it the hot zone because it's slightly more emotive and it's where emotions get hotter. And we think it's going to encourage referees to get in there more and explore, making sure they're credible for their decisions in the hot zone. You know, there's more pressure in the penalty area, so it's a hot area of the pitch we need to be on top of. So in terms of what we're looking at right here, this is how we break the field down for our positioning. So the no standing zone kind of is in line with what you might know as the positional diagonal, which runs sort of left away from your ARs. So we generally want our referees to be working through that in order to make sure they're still working on their credibility and their open play positioning. It's ideal to obviously not standing in the no standing zone, and you should be kind of running using dynamic movement, lateral movement, and especially when you approach the center circle and go through the center circle, make sure you accelerate right through it, because that will help push you into the hot zone and make sure you're credible there. Then obviously got your assistant referee credibility zones on either side. The third hot zone, which is in front of the technical area, where we just need to apply the similar sort of principles as we do to the hot zone penalty areas. And then just at the top, we've got that sort of where we should be looking to trying to play advantage or not, depending on the situations in the game. Yeah, and then the ceremonial free kick zone, which is just where you need to be calming the game down, taking your time, and setting up free kicks properly, which we will do another session on later on.
Ultimately, especially when you mention it as well, and we're talking about ceremonial free kicks and you're taking your time to set the ceremonial free kick up there. You want to make sure you're bringing the game back into your control, especially before that ball is heading into that hot zone of the penalty area as well.
Mm.
So practical identification for open play positioning. So we want to work on the positional diagonal, so left of the penalty area and away from your ARs. When we say away from your ARs, we still want to have our assistant referees in view. It's really important that our assistant referees do stay within view, so that we're able to look over our shoulders briefly, or keep an eye on them in case there's an offside that we've got to look for, or if the ball enters their area of the field and they've got a foul within their credible zone, they're able to signal it, and you as the referee are able to make the decision and call the foul. Like Adam mentioned before, and you want to sprint through that central channel and across that center circle. We don't want to be strolling in between that area there, because that's considered an area where you're most likely going to be hit by the ball. A lot of activity happens within that area there, so you really need to push out to get into a credible position in order to start positioning yourself wherever the field of play or wherever the play is going towards to. As mentioned, be where the ball is going to be, not where it is. So that takes a lot of scanning, and we have a video example later on where, as referees, we need to be scanning where the next phase of play could be going. We can't just be watching the ball the whole time. If we're watching the ball, I know a couple of our match day coaches, they call it sheepdogging, because we do become a border collie and we just watch the ball the whole time, just like they watch the sheep and herd the sheep in the whole time. So your decision is where the ball is going to land, not where it has come from. The only time you generally need to look where it's going to be coming from is just in case there's going to be a late challenge, on an opponent there, but that's usually identifiable by an opponent putting pressure on that player coming into. So join the attack by thinking you're part of the attack as well as the referee. You want to be in that close proximity to that area of the attack, and you'll take high positions up the field in regards to that. Expect the attack to succeed. Anticipating successful attacks makes you more credible for bigger decisions, especially when we're moving into that hot zone. Dynamic and lateral movement, sideways movement, varying speeds, and moving ahead of play, especially as referees, but also as assistant referees, as we're including them in there. We want to make sure we're using that dynamic and lateral movement to make sure that we're in line with that defender, the second last defender that's there. We want to make sure we're able to get into a credible position to make a call, especially for offside calls too. So we're going to jump into our videos that we created with the ID, and this is the first video that we're going to be going through, and it's open play positioning.
My ace out for holiday and not reach the flying winger is Deus.
Really important, like it says, the referee sprinting through that center circle, keeping an eye on where that next phase of play is going and heading towards that area of the field. And the end product is there at that edge of that penalty area there. I'm just going to turn the music off so then we can talk through this too. So happy Adam or Misu, if you want to add some comments on these as well.
With that one, you could see how willing the referee was to just get ahead of that ball being kicked by the left back, anticipating where the ball was going to go, and it really helped that positioning show up.
Absolutely. I'll just rewind that one there. Sorry to jump back on the video. What do you want to add there? Sorry, Misu.
And then when the ball in the air is the referee start to anticipation and then speed off. This is more important for the next phase to ready to make your decision as well.
100%. Now I'll just rewound it to this video here, just because we have obviously a defensive team. Oops, we have a defensive team that's got possession of the ball, but then loses possession of the ball. So we have a sudden change of defensive possession to attacking possession.
Yeah.
And the referee, with quick dynamic movement and speed, moves through that central channel and that through the center circle as well to get that credible position, especially within that hot zone area.
The only thing to say on that one, Brad, quickly, was they're running a little more centrally as opposed to necessarily on the diagonal because of the speed with which they're having to react to play. Like, the diagonal is there, but it can be come off of. Just remember that when play demands it, and it's more important you're credible than necessarily being diagonal.
So he's running through that center channel just there, just to get a good angle of view. I think like preferability, like if I'm talking preference wise too, because we've hit that with so much speed, we'd also probably want to be aiming to go sort of around that right hand side of that penalty area arc that's just there, just to get a better view of, say, if anything occurs on that right hand side. Yeah, we've got that assistant referee there too, who's able to help us with making a decision as well, but it helps us put the referee in a credible position. So great dynamic movement through that center channel as well. Just needed to finish up a little bit more to the right there. I think this one here is another great example of dynamic movement, especially through that central channel and through the center circle.
It's a classic example of step, step, go, isn't it? Step, step, and then we go with play.
Absolutely. And here's that example of what we mentioned earlier about scanning and having a look upfield.
And what I love about this one is, like, the referee is level with the ball the whole time it's coming out of that defensive third.
Yeah. Let's play that one again there. It's really important. Picks up the speed there. He goes, right, I need my dynamic movement and head downfield. Pushes through, slows down just before he's getting into that penalty area because he's got a good position there on the right-hand side to see the ball before it goes in.
The only other thing to say on this quickly is, on that particular clip, it looks easy for the referee. And that's because they're ahead of play, they're not having to exert so much energy in keeping up with play because they've anticipated it well. So it's actually a really good, if you get this right, it actually conserves your energy throughout the game for when you really need it most. Whereas if you're just constantly sprinting left and right because you're not anticipating well enough and you're not thinking about speeding up over the center circle, then it exhausts you over the period of time of 90 minutes and your positioning slowly decreases. So just remember that. It's a great way of conserving energy by getting ahead, being level with the ball, and just moving up the field as quickly and as efficiently as you can.
You want to add anything to that there, Misuk, as well?
I think that reading the game is the first key, and second is the goal before the kick pass.
Absolutely. As you can see, he reads the game. He sees we've got he looks up, we've got players upfield. Do I have a play to my left? Got to keep an eye on that as well. Pushes through, slows down, and gets in a good position. Some key points to remember on that one there. We want to accelerate through that center circle, like mentioned a few times. Use your explosive movement. Be on your toes and be ready to move. You don't want to be caught flat-footed. If you get caught flat-footed, it's going to take you more time to start to accelerate. If you keep on your toes, you can make a quicker start and a quicker movement. Anticipate play. Go before the ball is moving. So like Misuk mentioned beforehand, just make sure we're looking upfield. Look to possibly where that next phase is going. And then that last one there is get to where the ball is going to be. We don't want to be too far back. We don't want to be too far left. We don't want to be too far back in the central area. We want to be looking at where that ball is going because we need to be within close proximity to make a good decision. But we don't want to be on top of the players, and we definitely don't want to be on top of the ball because we don't want to be hit by it as the most key thing too. So moving on from that now, we've got some best practical help for if we're talking about set piece positioning. So set pieces, we're talking about ceremonial free kicks coming into the penalty area. We've got corner kicks. And I do think we briefly touched on a little bit later around goal kick positioning as well. And we're able to...
Sorry, Brad, this is also true for throw-ins as well, a lot of this.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if we get caught too far back on a throw-in and it's an attacking throw-in, then we're not prepared. We're not anticipating where that next space is going. So I'll let you go through this one here, Adam.
Okay. When the ball is in the air, get square. Those of you who have been coached by me will have heard me say this a million times to you. And I just think it's the easiest way to understand where you need to be at set pieces. So what we mean by that is when you need to be square to the landing zone. So where the ball is going to land, you want to be square to that so you can see all the pushing, pulling, and holding fouls. It's really incredible how much more credible your decisions are when you're square to it and you're moving and adapting with where that landing zone changes. It's also important to use that dead ball time. So when the ball's out of play and players are setting up or sorting stuff out, use that time to recover your position. It makes it a lot less tiring because you're moving before the ball is. So like we were saying in open play, be where the ball is going to be. You want to do that when the ball is dead at set pieces as well. Using proactive and preventative vocal communication. Always use your voice. Your voice is your number one communication tool. And so talking players through what you're looking at, what you can see, what you want them to do, it stops surprises from coming and it stops them from committing those fouls because they know you're looking at them and they can hear that you're looking at them because they're not going to be looking at you. They're going to be focused on play. So by using your voice, it allows them to know what you're thinking and what you're seeing. Always try and be open to your assistant referees at all times on the pitch. That's just as crucial at set pieces as it is in open play. And also, this is really important, and Brad touched on it earlier. Always allow play to restart when you have match control. Don't be letting the ball come in from a corner, say, and you've got a lot of pushing and pulling and fouling going on in that penalty area. Make sure you distill the environment and you calm everything down and you're on top of it. And just don't let play happen until you're happy that everyone is behaving themselves. Otherwise, you're going to have problems compounding very quickly on top of you, and it will be impossible to be able to disentangle it. And players can cause problems, and you want to keep your eyes on your problems. It's really important, again, that you don't look at when the ball is being kicked, because the second you look away, that's when the foul will happen. Always keep your eyes on the landing zone and the players within it, because they're the ones who are going to commit the foul. You can hear when the ball is kicked. You can hear when the ball is in play, because it's not going to be in play until you've told them it should be in play. And also watching the players, they'll tell you when the ball is in place. You don't need to be aware of it. You don't need to see it. You can hear it and you can adjust to it on everything else by reading the game that's in front of you.
I think we've done like a very heavy focus on like the referees in set piece situations there
Mm.
too. And I probably want to get a bit of advice from Misuk here, just because Misuk's had a lot of experience as an assistant referee, especially at the top level of football, with FIFA and AFC. But what would be some like proactive positioning or proactiveness that like as assistant referees could do on set pieces in regards to positioning, Misuk?
So first one, AR need to be the correct position, and also you give the information before the kick, and like for example, the player is in offside position, so giving information to the referee, so the referee prevents before the free kick taken. So which is the good communication between the referee and assistant referee, especially set piece near the penalty area free kick. Yeah.
What about on corner kicks as well, Misuk?
At the corner kick as well, if the short corner kick, you can use your voice to let the referee know, so referee can move to the right side to see the inside outside the next situation to prepare from the best angle to help.
Mhm.
Or when cross and then the player is in front of the goalkeeper, so it was an impact or not, you can give the information as well.
And it's always best to, even if we don't have, and a lot of the level that you referee at, me, so you have those communication devices, whereas we have like junior football and we have some community level football where they don't have communication devices. It's always best practices, any referee and an assistant referee to still communicate that, like still voice that as yourself as the assistant referee. So if a player is in an offside position, you can talk to yourself and say position, position, position. So then when it comes to the fact that, say, the referee needs to come over and have a chat with you as the assistant referee, you've already got that. You've already got what you said. You can just repeat what you've said from beforehand and just provide that information to the referee. Even if that ball is going short, like you said, on a corner kick, and the official is on the other side, like I think, but not verbalizing it to the fact that the referee can hear it, but letting yourself know we have a short corner. It keeps you as the assistant referee sharp and awake during a game, rather than just being lost sometimes, or losing interest. I think it's really important that that case there is like you're showing that you're interested in the game. You wanted to be involved in the game too.
Yeah, so like the confidence and courage to what you see, and then how you're gonna deliver your information to the referee as a team.
Yeah, yeah.
I find as an AR, part of my role there is like to pass the message on, like what the referee would be saying to the players in front of them, to pass that on to the players in front of me as well. So if I don't want the corner to be taken, I will tell the kick taker, because they're kind of with me, they're not with the referee. No, we're not taking it yet. Just wait there, wait until the referee's clear, and then it's my job to pass that message through as well. So I'm kind of a conduit for that verbal communication.
Yeah, 100%.
But the
So
AR cannot be the incident insistent, rather than
No,
we
of course.
assistant referee has to be assistant. Yeah.
yeah, it's in the title, assistant referee. So, where to be on on corner kick positioning. So, like, this is how we're teaching it as well. Is if we've got a corner coming in from the opposing AR side on this side over here, we want to go through the processes of being able to understand like how we can have control of the match as a referee. So step one here is check to see that the ball is within that corner arc, or it's on the corner arc, or within that corner arc that's there before the corner comes in. Once we can identify that, we're able to get in position where step two is, and we can start, which is just where the corner arc, not the corner, the penalty area arc and the edge of the penalty area meet, just on the opposing AR side, just here. That's our preferred position that we want our referees to be in, and we can start getting ready for when that ball comes in. So when the ball comes in, we can then move either towards the inside the penalty area, or we can move around if there's a short one, or move close if there's a short, or move to the opposing side or across that penalty area arc there to get a good position of the as the ball is coming in. Really important as well, when the ball is coming in on the corner, we can't just be standing still as a referee. We've got to make sure we're moving. Okay. If we stay still, everything becomes like I sometimes reference, everything just stays two-dimensional. But as soon as we start moving and we get a different angle or a different camera angle, as that's what our eyes are, we're able to see things in 3 dimensions. We can start getting the correct angle to get the correct information that we see in those situations.
The
And then
other
the
key
side where
point, sorry, Brad, the other key point
Sorry.
to just standing where we're asking you to stand here is that your body position will also be aware of your AR. You've not got your back to the AR. That's why we're putting you on these particular sides of the penalty arc.
Yeah, 100%. And it's the same with like this side here where we have the side with the assistant referee. We're not having to check that corner arc there, because the assistant referee is the one that's in control of that situation. And like you mentioned earlier, Adam, if we've got situations happening inside the penalty area and it's on the AR side, don't think that you can't stop the corner kick from being taken or assist the referee in making sure we can communicate before the corner kick comes in. Okay. We can always go and stand in front of the ball. They're not going to kick the ball into you, but don't do it as they're running up. Maybe have a chat to them before the ball goes in, stand in front of the ball so that we're on top of it and we can make sure the corner kick is being taken when the referee is prepared. But the referee is standing in position number 1 there, at position number 2, just there. Okay. Position 1 is just there as say like to signal or to be prepared for the ball has just gone into the penalty area and gone out for a corner kick. And that number 2 is just like the opposing side over here. As the ball's coming in, we're moving out, we're moving to the opposing side of that penalty area arc. But really, like, we've got to make sure we're moving. We want to make sure we're seeing things 3-dimensionally, not as 2-dimensionally, because that's where we were able to pick up things a bit better. We've got a video for this corner kick positioning one too.
So you look at that, recovering that dead ball time, getting into the right position.
This is a good starting position because we can see our assistant referee and we can see all the players. The ball comes in, we moved. Keeping an eye on any potential issues. Obviously, the main area where issues are going to occur is in or in front of that goalkeeper or in the goal area there. Be vocal. It's really important that you go vocal. You've got to communicate things.
Even if you're making it up, it's still important to say it. That's what I find.
And then as the ball is coming in, the referee prepares himself. They're on their toes. And as Adam said earlier, when the ball is in the air, get square. I'm just going to turn the sound off just so we can go through this. The referee's good position. Ball's coming in. They've moved around and get a good angle. And then the ball is cleared and they're ready to head off downfield.
The advantage of that lateral movement across the penalty area as well is means you've got a shorter distance when play breaks up the field to get onto your positional diagonal, and it will improve your open play positioning. So when we say this is important to improve that open play positioning, it already gets you up the field and moving with it, and this is why.
Absolutely. The 2 things from this video I noticed, the first thing was the assistant referee was actually smiling when the ball was getting into position. And you can actually see them chuck a smile and have a laugh over here.
Yep.
That's showing you interested in the game. You're wanting to give back as well to the game. Next part that I picked up here is you can see the referee talking to the players, letting them know I'm watching, and moving around that penalty area arc just to get in a good position. Okay. So some key points to remember there is optimal starting position is where the penalty arc meets that penalty area. Keep your body open to the AR. Don't ever turn your back to the AR. Use lateral movement to adjust to the landing zone. And when the ball is in the air, get square and watch the players, not the ball. Okay. Obviously, be careful that you're not going to get hit by the ball yourself as the referee, but generally the ball comes in towards where the players are, but we're able to watch the players, not the ball, as it's coming in from a corner kick. Goal kick positioning. Now, this one is all important about understanding where a drop zone is. So when we're talking about drop zones or a landing zone, we're talking about those areas up the field that we can prepare ourselves as referees to be in to where that possible next phase of play is going. And how we can pick up landing zones or drop zones is really through other situations throughout the game. So if a goalkeeper is taking a goal kick and it lands that same zone, or the players are within that same area every time it's being taken, we can probably start heading over to that area and preparing ourselves whilst they're setting up for the goal kick. So then we can be prepared, we can get ready for the next phase of play and get sorted. We've also got to be aware in case there are those short goal kicks that do happen a lot more in the football that we see nowadays. But we just got to make sure we're aware so we can quickly and we can stay on our toes and quickly move to where we can get a credible position as a referee. So it's really important as well that as referees, we're preparing ourselves before the ball comes into play. We don't want to be preparing ourselves as the ball is in play. We don't want to be standing around in the goal area, having a chat with the goalkeeper, and then they put the ball down, they head downfield, and you're already 10 steps off the ball. Okay. It's really important as well with that restart that as for assistant referees, we make sure we check that the ball is on that goal area line. Once we're sure that it's on that goal area line, the assistant referee moves upfield to where that second last defender is, so that they're in line with that second last defender. Okay.
I always like to give a thumbs up as well to the referee just to let them know the ball placement's correct and we're ready to go.
Absolutely. So eye contact is key there if you're the referee with the assistant referee. And what can't you be from a goal kick? What offense can't an attacking player be from a goal kick? It can't be an offside offense. There's no offside offense from a goal kick. Okay. So it's really important to know that too. It's goal kick, corner kicks, throw-ins. We can't be offside from those. You see how the players are like bunching up already in that area of the field there. So that already like clicks in our head. We can start preparing ourselves to be there. Our AR is down here in line with the second last defender too.
And here the referee is adjusting to where that landing zone is because it's gone a bit longer than he first thought. He's moved with it as the ball is in the air, as the players have adjusted to it as well.
There's so much time between like when that goal kick is being taken that the AR is able to move upfield. I think this one's a good example of like we mentioned earlier, the goalkeeper's ready. So the referees had to quickly backpedal to get in position so they can see where the play is coming from. We've got a short goal kick taken there.
The key to that one as well is although it's short, the referee is still working hard to get long because they know play is going to end up in an attacking phase. And that's most important. There's going to be little pressure on that defensive player. So even though it's been taken short there, they're still working to get up the field, which is really important.
Yeah. So this one here, the referee understood where that drop zone was and they prepared themselves and moved into position. Eyes on the player. The eyes have never been on the ball the whole time we've been taking a goal kick too. We were watching where the players are. They are going to be your key as to be able to understand where that landing zone is. Okay, we don't have to look at the ball as it's in the air because nothing's happening there. The main area we need focusing on is where the players are. They'll let you know where it's going to land for sure. So you know not to stand there and you can backpedal and get yourself in position. But also that's where the problems are going to be, is where the players are. So you can keep an eye on, you can be vocal, you can communicate to the players what your expectations are. Keep their hands down, no pushing, no shoving. I think as well as that, in some areas where if it's close to the assistant referee too, the assistant referee is able to vocalize that. Keep the arms down. Make sure you keep an eye on the ball. So it's not just the referee being the one that's vocal. It's also it's the whole team that ends up being vocal there and communicating to the players.
Players really appreciate that as well. It can feel a bit awkward when you start, but it's amazing how much players really actually appreciate your communication there.
Yeah, 100%. So we always prepare for a long goal kick and be ready to adapt to taking a short one. So like that referee was in the previous video for the Lions game here. Okay. They're preparing themselves. They're going, okay, this is going to be a long goal kick. They're preparing themselves to move downfield. So when it becomes a short goal kick, okay, they can move back to a better position there to be within close proximity. Keep your eyes on those landing zone, like I mentioned beforehand. Adapt your positioning as the landing zone changes. and use verbal and proactive management to manage your aerial challenges.
The only other thing, just quickly on that, you need to remember with those short goal kicks is 9 times out of 10, it will go to a right back or a left back or a centre back. And then the centre back or the defensive player will just pump it forward anyway. So it might not be from the goal kick, but you're still going to have a long ball to react to. So by working hard to get long initially is always going to help you when that ball is pumped upfield and they start to launch their attack in that manner, as opposed to playing it out and dribbling it through.
Yeah, and then football understanding what team tactic, especially goal kick, short and long. So you have to understanding about football is to help you to get the right position.
Yeah. So best practical help for hot zone positioning. Now, we briefly mentioned the hot zones beforehand, and the two key hot zones that we have are the two penalty areas. So mentioned in the first dot point there. So we consider both those penalty areas to be the hot zones, as key decisions are going to occur in a match within them. So best practice is open play positioning leads to improved hot zone positioning. So by working harder in open play, you'll more than likely be able to push in that hot zone area. Okay. Push into the hot zone. Don't be shy of getting into the penalty area for decisions. Okay. There's no barrier up outside of that penalty area. You're not going to walk into a glass wall or anything too. You can get into that penalty area. Just really important. We're not on top of players. We're not on top of the ball. Okay. We want to be in positions where it benefits us as the referee during the game. So anticipation is key. We recognize promising attacks early, like we saw in that attacking phase in the first video that we had. And we use the position diagonally. By getting high and wide, you'll be less likely to get in the way of play. As mentioned previously, you don't want to get in the way of play. You want to make sure you're either in line or just a little bit behind, so we're not being hit by the ball, not getting in the way of players. We've got to understand and be aware of our surroundings as referees too. Expect attacks to succeed, and this will encourage you to keep pressing further up the field. We've just got a video on hot zone positioning for this one too. Really important there. The referee doesn't just stand there or point to the penalty spot. It's really important. They make the decision, they call the penalty, and they move into that penalty area, and they move to a position where it's away from the players. They're not running through players to make the call. They moved around the players and been able to get in that position and call the penalty. That really stops that confrontation between players and referees. So if there is a point where we're able to move around, we call a penalty there, and someone wants to question the decision, preferably only the captain is the one that's going to be asking what the decision was for. Us as the referee, we can take the whistle out of our mouth and we can explain what it was for. It's just a careless trip inside the penalty area, and we have a penalty kick. And once we explain that, preferably against the captain, they'll take that on board and we'll be able to get on with the game.
Yeah, so reading the game and proximity and define the best angle of view so you can make a correct decision.
Yeah. Other than not going towards the penalty spot, because that's where all the players will go when you call a penalty. And obviously you're going to get swamped there, making sure you have that distance. The other thing that they do really well in that previous video is they keep moving towards the decision, which builds credibility. So once the foul happens, sometimes you're going to be a bit caught out of position, or you might still be kind of pedaling to make up. Blow your whistle and keep moving towards it. Because by the time everyone realizes what you've done or how you've done it, you're going to have made up 15, 20 yards or 20 meters, and everyone's going to believe your decision an awful lot more. So always moving towards those kinds of decisions is critical as well.
So in this video here, the referee recognizes there's that one-on-one between the attacker and the goalkeeper there, where they're on their toes, quickly pushed into the penalty area to get a better position.
Mm-hmm. And again, so that's a great example of just moving towards a decision as it happens.
Absolutely. I think like I'll play that one again because that one's a really good one as well, because we see the referees in that central corridor that's there too, or the central channel. They started going to the right and then they moved to the left to get a better angle of view. And they're able to get to that side of the penalty area arc and penalty area line to be able to push into the penalty, the hot zone, as we mentioned, to make the decision. Okay. And as you can see, they push through into the penalty area. Okay. They've gone penalty and they stop. They end up stopping where they are, just next to that penalty area mark. And you can see one of the players turns around and asks a question. It prepares the referee to say, it's just a careless trip again inside the penalty area. It's going to be a penalty kick. Okay. We communicate that. We don't go, no, not answering questions, everyone away. The only time that we need to be saying everyone away is if there's more than just the captain in front of us. If we just want to talk to the captain, make it really clear as well. You should just be talking to the captains. Captains only, captains only. Okay. If they don't want to listen, the next step is there's a yellow card. Okay. Be smart when you're giving yellow cards, though. Don't be giving out. Make sure you know who you're giving yellow cards out to. I don't want any silly second yellow card, red cards for situations like that, too. Okay. But it should only be the captains only that is asking the questions. But the key points to remember there is to anticipate play and use explosive speed into the hot zone. Okay. Keep on your toes, especially on the edge of the penalty area there. Use a loud and long whistle, especially if we're calling it a penalty kick. Okay. We like to hear a loud, long whistle. Everyone knows play stopping is a key decision in a game. We call them key match decisions or key match incidents, especially when it's a penalty area incident. Okay. So for us, we're able to know that something's going on in that game if I was on the opposing field. Hot zone equals big decisions are big priorities. So we want to be in close proximity, really close proximity. We don't want to be in that center circle, call a penalty area from there. You might be 100% right that it's a penalty, but because you're in the center circle, you're not going to be able to sell it. Okay. You need to make sure you're in a credible and sellable position and move towards the decision, then create space from the players. Okay. Move to that empty space. Don't turn your back to the players. Really keep an eye on the players and the situations too, because anything could spark. You just don't know.
And can I add it? So yeah. So first one, you can get a proximity, but if you don't get a proximity, you have to find the best angle of view, left or right. So you can see between the player who commit foul, so you can find the detail. Especially hot zone is if you're missing the detail, because this is a key. So don't hesitate if you're a little bit far from the situation, but you have to quickly change your position, which is left or right, so you can see the between the player who commit the foul. This is more crucial, especially hot zone inside the penalty area.
So next time you're thinking about improving your positioning, I want you to remember this when you're on the field. So it builds credibility and believability to your decision. Okay. It's a sellable piece. It helps you keep match control. It shows that you're giving the game your energy. We want to be having our referees giving the game the energy, then especially all levels of game, the energy that it deserves. You should treat every level of game, no matter if it's under 13s all the way up into NPL, as though it's an A-League game, or in some cases, you might even have it as a World Cup match. Okay, especially those under 13s games too.
I think something that helps there is just imagine doing your best. Just go out there and just do your best. And for as long as you're doing your best, no matter what level of game it is, you're going to be giving your energy.
Yeah, 100%. And it comes off. It's noticeable by players. It's noticeable by coaches. It's noticeable by the spectators. It's really important. What do you think about, am I close enough to the hot zone? Am I going to be able to make a good decision if the ball is within the hot zone? Okay, so am I in a close proximity for if a penalty is having to be called here, and can I sell it? Lead back to the first point. Builds credibility and believability. Better positioning at set pieces helps you reset your open play positioning, demonstrating your fitness, and demonstrates your football knowledge and understanding of the game. Okay, so understanding what players' positions are on the pitch. We all know what a goalkeeper's position is. We all know what the strikers is. Understand those defenders and probably midfielders too, because they're the ones that are probably going to be moving around a bit more. The strikers usually move a bit up the front, okay? But it's really important to understand where they are possibly going to be. And how we can understand it is in the first 10 minutes of the game. Rather than focusing on the ball every second in the game, we can scan and have a look around. Are there movements happening during a game? Okay. Are there key players in a game? No matter what level, I'm sure there is one key player in every team that plays out there, from under 13s up into NPL football. So really, it keeps our concentration on too. Do you guys have anything to add on those from remembering when you think about positioning next time? Misuk, Adam? No?
No, I think we've pretty much covered it.
Nope.
I think it's
Yeah.
covered. I think it's covered it all.
Yeah.
So really important as well, guys. We want you to be brave. We want you to be courageous. We want you to make the decision. Okay. Really important as well. And that's our coaching for today too, around positioning, referee positioning and movement, as Miso put it at the start as well. But thank you, team. Brilliant. We'll catch you next time.
Have a good one.
Right.